guys, so I am back again and I have a winner for the Littman Lightweight Black Stethoscope. So I will have already reached out to you by the time this posts at 6 a.m. or probably right at 6 a.m. through Instagram. And our winner is Sienna Renee. Thank you guys so much for entering into the giveaway. I'm so happy I was able to do this, with the help of my sister and to be able to give back to you guys. I love having this community of RTs and respiratory therapy students as well. So it's just really nice to be able to give back to you guys after the support for over the last year that you've given me and just all of the amazing conversations we've had and everything we've learned from each other. So thanks again for entering, and I figured I should probably do something else other than just announcing the winner. So the other day I actually did a little Q&A on Instagram. If you guys don't already follow me there, again, my Instagram is breatheeasy_SRT. You can find me there, ask me questions anytime. Occasionally I do little Instagram Q&As, and there were a couple of questions that I really liked from the most recent one I did, so I thought I would share them here with you guys in case you missed that Q&A, or just so you can kind of refer back to some of these questions. So the first question was, what are my thoughts on being done with the program, and what are my plans after I finish the program? So being so close to finishing is such a weird feeling. As of filming this, I've only got 23, 24 days left of the program, and it just feels surreal. I feel like I just started the program the other day, so it's just kind of strange to be so close to my exit exams and prepping for boards. And it's a good feeling, but it's definitely strange, and I'm a little bit nervous, of course, because although you do your clinicals, you've never actually worked 100% on your own as a respiratory therapist. So that'll be a new experience and a new adventure. And regarding my plans for after I graduate, obviously passing my TMC and CSC, but once I do that, I'm hoping to find a job quickly after. I would love to work in a teaching hospital because, like you guys know, I like kind of sharing what's going on and being able to help other people along the way. So if I could find a job at a teaching hospital, I would absolutely love that, to be able to work with other students and other people that like working with students also, because I don't know, it's just something I like to do. I like to be able to help people in every aspect, whether it's helping my patients or, talking with you guys about your experience and kind of helping you along the way. So I'd love to be able to continue doing that. And also, pretty quickly after graduating, I would like to start my bachelor's degree. So one of the other questions I liked was, what is my favorite patient population and what would my dream RT job be? So of course, I love dealing with pediatric patients because you get to be fun and silly and play with them and try to make them laugh, and you just get to be a little more yourself, and you kind of get to be a kid while you're working with kids, and I really enjoy that. So it's one of my favorite populations to work with. It can be a very difficult population because of course no one likes to see a child that's in pain or sick or hurt, but it is still just, I feel like, a very rewarding population to work with. And little kids are just, they are so resilient and they are so happy still all the time. Just some of the things that I have heard children say my few times in pediatrics have just completely blown me away, especially considering their circumstances. So that has been one of my favorite populations to work with. Now, regarding my dream RT job, I can't put my finger on it exactly yet because there are so many things that I love to do. Again, I love working with kids. I really like the different specialty ICU floors. My favorite one so far has been burn care, because there's a lot of critical thinking and you have to be very creative in a lot of the things that you do, both in pediatrics and many of the specialty ICUs that you would work in. So those are my two favorites. It's kind of hard for me to really nail it down. And also I really, like I mentioned before, I really want to work at a teaching hospital of some sort, or maybe somewhere that they do a lot of research and try new procedures, and just an advanced hospital, or a hospital that is really open to research and teaching opportunities and education. That would be my place. And the next question, would you recommend working during the program? Now, this is hard. This is a really hard thing to say yes or no to, because there are so many factors that play into whether you can work or not in the program. You know, there's things like if your job is flexible, are they going to be able to accommodate you in switching your schedule around for clinical rotations or perhaps class schedule changes? Are you going to have any downtime where you may be able to use a few minutes to study in between? You know, are you having to drive a very far distance? How much are you going to be making versus spending going to this job? There's a lot of things to consider. And it also depends on you personally, because again, some people don't have to study as much as other people. I personally, especially in the beginning of the program, had to study a lot. I feel like I was constantly studying and doing almost nothing but studying. Not that that was the best thing to do, but that's, you know, what I had to do in the beginning to get through everything and really get on a good schedule and kind of restructure the way I did things. Healthcare classes versus, you know, standard college courses. They're very different, so it can take some adjusting to get used to the differences between the two and the way you have to study for them. As well as, you know, each class type itself is going to be different. There are certainly classes that I have had to study 2 times as much for as other classes. Mechanical ventilation, I just dove right into that, and I don't think I ever closed my books. So, you know, again, it depends on you, how much time you need to study, how flexible the job is. So you really have to look at all of the pros and cons for the specific job you're working, as well as what you require to be able to pass your classes, understand the material, to be able to apply it once you go to clinical and start using it in the real world. So this last question was actually my favorite because I think it's something that we all feel. I know I've definitely felt it in my first rotation. The question was, I'm really scared at clinical sometimes. What do you do to get over that fear? So, like I said, we all get scared. It's completely normal and natural. Even though we've been studying and reading all of these things and practicing on dummies and fake arms and, you know, doing everything you can do before you get out to the real world is a whole different game. You now have real people in front of you, real scenarios, and these people are sick. So it can be a very scary experience to have to do certain things, whether it's assisting in an intubation, your first trauma, your first code, you know, your first ABG. All of these things can kind of create that fear, that tight-chested feeling, you know, maybe your hands shake a little bit. We all manifest our fear and anxiety in different ways. But the thing that I have found that helps the most, because I think we've all had a moment where we're just frozen. We don't know what to do. Even if you've read it a million times, sometimes that fear can kind of grab hold of you. Now, if you are scared of doing something because you honestly just don't know how to do it, that's another story. If you don't know how to do something, do not put a patient at risk by attempting to do something that you honestly have no idea what to do. Let your preceptor know, hey, I have not learned this before. I need guidance. Can you show me how to do this? Can you walk me through it? Never put your patient in danger. If you have any doubt about what you're doing, ask your preceptor, ask, you know, whoever is with you if you have a question, because there's nothing wrong with being confident in what you're doing, but someone that thinks they know everything and never doubts themselves, that's a dangerous healthcare professional. We all have self-doubt, and that is healthy. I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm not talking about being scared because you don't know how to do something, because that's another story. That's understandable. You shouldn't do something if you don't know how to do it. But if you are feeling fear because something is new or you have not done it in person before, that's another story. The best way to get over that, you know, is you take a deep breath, and definitely, you know, you can ask if you can observe your preceptor doing it the first time, and then ask them to watch you. And they'll generally be there either way to watch you and make sure that you're doing something correctly. You have to make yourself do it, and you can move slowly. Don't let anyone rush you if it's not an emergency situation. Take your time, breathe, get through it the first time, and keep doing it. The more you do something that you are fearful of or scared of, the more comfortable you become with it. And that even goes for if there was something you didn't realize you would be nervous to do in person, and then when you go to attempt to do it, all of a sudden you feel very anxious or very scared. When you go home that night, study it. Again, make yourself very familiar with whatever it is that is making you nervous or anxious, because that's really all fear is. It's fear of what we don't know or what we haven't experienced yet. So the more familiar you are with it, the more comfortable you start to feel. And after a little while of doing it and continuing to do it, that fear kind of, it fades away. And then you might one day go, man, like in the middle of doing whatever it is, gosh, I used to be so scared of this. Why was I so scared of this? It really isn't that bad, because it's something that you will become accustomed to, and you'll even become an expert at it after doing it so many times. You just have to give yourself those first couple of times of getting through it and, moving at your own pace to become comfortable. Those were just a few of my favorite questions from the little Q&A I did the other day. If you guys have any additional questions, leave them in the comments below and I will try to make another Q&A for you if you like them. Or you can message me privately, as always, on Instagram if you have questions, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. All right, thanks again, guys, and I will see you next time.